20 million people took a cruise last year, but with recent disasters on cruise ships like Carnival's Triumph, many travelers are reluctant to get on board. What can you do if you've already bought a ticket and you don't want to go? Mark Murphy is a travel expert and the CEO of Travelliance Media. Mark, great to have you here.
Thanks, Allison.
My mother and stepfather are leaving on a cruise next week.
Good for them.
They've had tickets for a long time.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, in light of all of the things that we've heard lately going wrong on cruises, if they wanted to cancel, which they don't.
Right.
But for people who have gotten cold feet and do want to cancel, is there any canceling now?
As long as they've booked it far enough out, so if they're, like, let's say going to a Europe cruise 90 days out, they can still cancel, get all their money back under most cruise policies. Each cruise line's different, so you got to look at each one. But as you get closer into the departure date, you lose more and more of the money you've put towards that cruise, unless you have travel insurance, and that's something you want to consider on every transaction, no matter what you're booking for travel.
Okay, let's talk about that. If you have travel insurance, and you either want to get out of a cruise or you're on a cruise that goes awry, you get your money back?
Not necessarily. So what you have to do is you have to look at what that insurance is. So there's trip interruption insurance, there's cancel for any reason insurance. So just like every other insurance policy, you got to read between the lines. And I always say talk to a travel professional because they can basically separate the wheat from the chaff when it comes to that.
That helps because, you know, nowadays we just book things online. I mean, I miss the old days of travel agents. They used to be able to sort it out.
It's funny you say that. They're not the old days anymore. They still book 70% of cruises, 70% of tours, 60% of international airline tickets. And people forget that. And so a lot of people who went to the web are going back to traditional travel agents for that exact reason. There's so much information out there. How do they sort through it all?
One of the things that we've learned during all of these cruise nightmares, in addition to the raw sewage and the food shortages that we've heard tell of, is that some of these cruise ships, all of them maybe, have these ironclad contracts.
Correct.
Where even if something goes nightmarishly wrong, you can't sue them.
Yeah, your liability is very limited as a cruise line, and so you have to read that contract, which is pretty detailed. And again, talk to a professional because they know the ins and outs of those contracts. But at the end of the day, unless you declare your valuables on board, when you get on board, you're going to be limited. If you want to sue them, let's say the Costa Concordia disaster, you have to go to Italy to bring a lawsuit. So a lot of these cruise lines are registered in other countries, and that's literally where the legal implications take place.
Because of some of these latest mishaps, have prices gone down on cruises?
Well, right now we just saw a report that says close-in bookings for Carnival, the pricing has dropped. The other guys, not so much. Carnival's really feeling it more than anybody else.
Because they've had more of the disasters.
Yeah, they've been in the news, and I think they did a really good job reacting to the latest issue, but it seems like they can't catch a break. You know, the Triumph just broke free from its moorings, but you know what? There were 65-mile-an-hour winds. That's not a ship that's sailing. That's not a Carnival issue. That was a shipyard issue, but it puts them back in the spotlight, and that's a challenge.
So you're thinking it's a good time right now to actually buy a cruise?
Absolutely. You know what? The prices have come down. There 20 million people took a cruise last year, and we hear about the bad stuff, but there's so many great vacations. And look, your parents are taking a cruise, right?
They really do like it.
They love them.
They love it. All right, Mark Murphy, thanks so much. We appreciate your expertise always.
Thank you.
Great to see you.